If you would, please stand. Our minister that was to be here had an illness in the family, so we're calling on Commissioner Underwood to lead us in the invocation. And Jeb, if you would lead us in the pledge, please. Okay. Please stand.
Thank you. You bow with me, please. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day. We thank you for all the many blessings that you bestow upon us. And dear Lord, we just ask that you be with us during this meeting to give us guidance and wisdom and strength. And Lord, we just pray that you be with all of our citizens of this county and everyone, and keep us safe. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Please join me in the pledge. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Did you make sure the door was locked or unlocked? Okay. All right. Hey, if we can't have fun doing what we do, then we've got to deal with that. But the county's business is certainly important. And so when I make light of things, it's not our purpose, but it's our camaraderie that we need to keep going. Wayne, if you would lead us into our agenda, please.
Yes, sir. Good morning, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
The first item on today's agenda is the adoption of the minutes from the April 6, 2021 regular meeting.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion we approve the minutes from April the 6th, 2021.
Got a motion?
Second.
Motion and a second. Any comments or suggestions? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
It's unanimous. Thank you, sir.
Mr. Chairman, next we'll move into the balance of the agenda. As you know, these were discussed at work session, but staff recommends under the items in administration, BA1 through BA3, staff recommends approval of those three items.
So moved.
We've got a motion to approve the administrative items. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Got a motion and a second to approve the three items under administration. Any comments? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. 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 It's unanimous. Yes.
Mr. Chairman, next are the budget and purchasing items. We have 8 items, Mr. Chairman. I do want to mention that item BE8 needs to be voted on separately. This is for the authorize the issuance and sale of the warrants for the borrowing. So staff recommends that the commission approve BE1 through BE7.
So moved.
We've got a motion and a second to approve BE1 through BE7. Any comments? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. It's unanimous.
Mr. Chairman, again, that last item, BE8, staff recommends approval of BE8.
So moved.
Got a motion to approve, motion and a second to approve BE8 dealing with the borrowing of additional dollars. Any comments? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. It's unanimous. Yes, sir.
Mr. Chairman, next we have 2 items under Communication Information Systems, BH1 and BH2. Staff recommends approval of those 2 items.
So moved.
All right, we've got a motion to approve items BH1 and BH2. Do I have a second? Got a second? Yes, we've got a motion and a second. Any comments? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. It's unanimous. Yes, sir.
Mr. Chairman, next is Highway. We have 3 items. I do want to make mention that in BN2, there is an addendum attachment for the resolution. This is, again, dealing with a small wireless facility and public rights-of-way regulations the county will adopt. Just want to make mention that we do have that resolution attached, Mr. Chairman. But staff does recommend approval of BN1 through BN3.
All right.
So moved.
We've got a motion to approve the items BN1 through BN3.
Second.
Do we have a second? We do. Any discussion or comment? Hearing none. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Items are approved. Yes.
Mr. Chairman, next are the personnel items. We have 7 items, BQ1 through BQ7. I do want to make note, as we discussed at the work session yesterday, Mr. Chairman, BQ6, this is from the Revenue Commission. They have requested that number 2 be withdrawn at the request of the Personnel Director and only consider the recommendations of 1 and 3, Mr. Chairman. With that note, staff recommends approval of the personnel items.
So moved, Mr. Chairman, with those changes.
All right, we've got a motion on the BQ items, including the amendment to BQ6. Do I have a second?
Second.
We've got a motion and a second to approve the personnel items. Any discussion or comment? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. It's unanimous. Yes, sir.
Mr. Chairman, next is one item under planning and zoning. That is the Town of Alberta and their request to terminate the planning jurisdiction agreement. As you may recall, we had a representative from Alberta at one of our work sessions, and this is a mutual agreed upon decision to terminate the planning jurisdiction.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion we approve staff's recommendation.
All right, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Got a motion and a second to approve BR1, dealing with the Town of Alberta's termination of planning jurisdiction agreement. Any comments or suggestions? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. It's unanimous. Yes, sir.
Mr. Chairman, next it's proclamations, and we have a proclamation for Older Americans Month, May 2021. Mr. Chairman, if I could, I'll ask Mrs. Kelly Childress, our Council on Aging Director, to step forward, and I'll read the proclamation, Mr. Chairman, if that's okay.
All right. And if we could, I'd like for all four commissioners to be involved in a presentation.
Absolutely. Yes, sir.
And a photo if we could. Okay.
The proclamation reads, proclaiming May 21st as Older Americans Month in Baldwin County, Alabama. Whereas and the Baldwin County Commission joins in the national recognition of this month of May 2021 as Older Americans Month with the theme of Communities of Strength. And whereas older Americans are valuable members of our society who enhance our communities and personal lives. And whereas our older citizens of today and tomorrow promise to be among the most active and involved older adult populations in our nation's history. And whereas it is the responsibility of all communities to work collaboratively to address older adults' unique health and long-term care challenges. And whereas communities can improve older citizens' overall quality of life by helping them obtain the tools they need to make informed decisions about and gain better access to existing health and long-term care options in their communities. And whereas the Baldwin County Commission and Baldwin County Council on Aging are proud to serve this generation of treasured citizens and will continue to recognize their contributions during this month and throughout the year. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed by the Baldwin County Commission and regular session assembled that with the deepest respect and admiration, we hereby proclaim May 2021 Older Americans Month in Baldwin County, Alabama, and we urge everyone to take time this May to honor our older adults and the professionals, family members, and citizens who care for them.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes. Would you like to make a comment?
I would like to thank the commissioners for allowing the Council on Aging to stay open so that we could serve the seniors in Baldwin County. And I'd also like to thank you for allowing our senior center this award. And it's for all the seniors in Baldwin County. And I want you to know I've talked to them and they are ready to open up and take back lives.
That's right. Very good.
All right. Well, and I always say, seniors are the foundation of this county, and I say that over and over, and the theme this year is communities and strength. So let me reiterate what our seniors have been through. They have been through wars, they have been through pandemics, they have been through it all, and they have persevered, and they do want to come back, and they do want to be active, and they have missed interaction with people, and Council on Aging has been open for the seniors in Baldwin County the whole time, except for one little short time at the beginning. The Council on Aging has been there, and these seniors have been so grateful that we have been there. And Miss Betty has stayed vigilant through our Loxley Senior Center, as I know all the senior centers have, reaching out to them and sending them games and copies and calling them. So on behalf of all the seniors in Baldwin County, thank you, and thank you for giving them this proclamation for next month, Older Americans Month. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm in the middle. Oh, you're in the middle. Okay. He's in the middle. Where do I get to? I'm in the middle. We will. Anyone else home? Anyone else? Okay. Thank you.
Thank y'all so much.
And Mr. Chairman, the staff recommends the adoption of the proclamation.
So moved.
Chairman, we've got a motion and a second to adopt the proclamation. Any discussion or comments? Hearing none. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Thank you very much. And as soon-to-be 73-year-old, I'm so proud of not only what we do for our young people, but what we do for some of our older folks too. All right? Thank you. Yes, sir.
Mr. Chairman, next on the agenda is the Finance Administration and EA1 payment of the bills.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we pay bills totaling $9,079,493.19, with the exception of those vendors or commissioners requested to be pulled, which are none at this time. Of this amount, $4,012,362.66 was paid to the Baldwin County Boards of Education, and $250,058.70 was paid to the Gulf Shores Board of Education for their portion of the county's sales and use tax.
Do we have a second to this
Second
motion?
motion.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion or comment? Hearing none, let's signify by saying aye. Aye. It's unanimous. Yes, sir.
Mr. Chairman, next is the notification of interim payments approved by the clerk treasurer, and the staff recommendation is to make the attached interim payments made by the clerk treasurer totaling $1,315,376.60 and make that part of the record of the minutes. Mr. Chairman, moving down to item F, as you may recall, we had several discussions at the work session reflected in FF1 and then FR1. None of those discussions resulted in an action today, but we'll have one forthcoming on FF1. But today, no action necessary for the discussion items, Mr. Chairman. That brings us down to commissioner requests.
I don't have any, sir.
Skip, have any requests?
I'm fine.
I am as well. We go to addenda. I believe we do have one. Is that correct?
Mr. Chairman, we do have one addendum. This is regarding a request of leave of absence for an employee at the Central Annex, and staff recommends approval of that leave of absence.
So moved.
Got a motion?
Second.
And a second to approve the leave of absence for someone, one of our key employees at Central Annex. Any discussion or comment? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. It's unanimous.
Mr. Chairman, next is administrative report. I do have one comment to make, Mr. Chairman, actually two comments. The first one, I want to recognize one of our valued employees, Monica English Taylor, 26 years of service with the Baldwin County Commission. She started off in the switchboard at the courthouse, and this is her last meeting of the Baldwin County Commission. So I want to thank Monica for all of her service to the county. She's been a great employee, a lot of fun to work with and be around, and I just want to, we're going to miss her. She's been a big help to me in my time back at the county. I want to just thank her publicly for that, and she's been a very valued member of the commission.
If you would,
staff.
please stand and join us in saying
Why'd you take your outfit off? I mean, the public's got to see the outfit. They got to see how we act up here. Look at there.
You
Look
need to
at
come
that.
down here and get a picture. You need to come down here.
Yeah.
We're going to get...
Let's get Monica come forward. Yeah, come on.
Then you got to say speech.
Oh, yeah, that's right. We've allotted about 20 minutes for you. You got a video or anything you want.
Still change your mind.
That's right. We'll be quick.
Come on, Monica.
I just want to say that it has been a pleasure to be here the last 26 years. Try not to cry. I've had wonderful coworkers who became friends. Those friends became my family. I'm thankful for that. Had great leadership throughout my time that always pushed me to do better, to go further. Starting out on switchboard, I never thought I'd be where I am today. So, and I hope that I've encouraged my team to always do their best, and leaving them in great hands. I'm thankful. You know, everybody doesn't get an opportunity to retire at 25. I was a mere baby when I started, but
That's right.
I just
Third
want
grade.
to thank you all. You've been wonderful. You've done great things for the county. I pray that you continue to do great things. And you never know, I might be one of those people with the public comments. So
Very good.
thank y'all.
Very good. Thank you.
Thank you.
And for those of you that'll be watching this later or maybe watching it now, this is a great example of why we have such a phenomenal team. And this is a good example of it's not where you start, it's where you end up. And this lady went through all the steps moving up the organization, and nobody will replace her. There'll be people following her, but you don't replace somebody who cares about their job. And we're blessed that we have all of our employees that take on that same attitude, and that's the reason that we get a lot of good things done and that we're going to have the opportunity to do even more of them. So thank you very much, and I'm told we do have your phone number so we can reach you if we need you, right? Okay.
I want the people to know too that everybody here has tried to talk you into staying.
That's
Right?
exactly
We
right.
don't want you to leave, but I wish you all the best, Monica. It's been a pleasure getting to know you over the last 3 years, and it's going to be like Commissioner Davis said, you can't be replaced and somebody fill your shoes, but I know you're leaving things in great hands, and you're going to be greatly missed around here because you just got contagious behavior that I like to come in and see when I do come in here. And it's fun, but we probably always have some type of office for you back there. If you want to just hang out and help sometimes, pro bono type work. So anyway, congratulations on your retirement, and don't be a stranger. Come out here and bother us in the audience if you want to.
Oh, Monica, I know you want to retire, and you know that we would love to keep you, but we wish you so much happiness in your retirement. And I got to know you the best probably the year I was chairman, and we get to sit there when we rotate the chairmanship and we sign all those documents. It's amazing the work that you guys do. For the people who don't know what all you guys go through, our agendas are massive, and we've just figured out a way to get through these meetings and not make them last 10 hours. So you guys do so much work. I mean, I remember going in there and you'd have a stack of papers like this.
yeah.
And I'm like, where's Monica? But, and the year of the pandemic, how that we persevered and we worked through it, and you've just always been pleasant and had a great attitude, and I've never, I mean, you're just such a light to me. You just make me feel good. And so you will be missed. And like I said, everybody's already said you can't be replaced. That's true, but you will be missed. And I couldn't say too many great things because it's all just stuff that just, I don't know, I'm going to miss you. I can't believe I'm going to have to look over here and I'm not going to see,
That's right.
I always see your hair mostly, but it's like, we're going to miss you. So whoever replaces you ain't going to be like, I won't be able to see them like I can see you. Well, we appreciate you, Monica, more than you can imagine. Thank you.
Monica, if it would do any good at all, I would make a motion that will deny you from leaving, but I know that's not possible.
And I can't second that. And I would second that.
That's something Billy Joe brought up. Something. At least she could stay around one more year so she can sign all the papers with me. I mean, really.
I'll come back and sit with you.
All right.
But anyway, Kylie, we spent, 14 years now? And you have been great. And you told me, 5 years ago, that you were looking forward to this day. And I kept telling you can't retire, but anyway, you're doing it. And I just hope that you have a good retirement and don't go home and just say, I'm not going to do nothing. Go home and do something that's going to make your life more productive and start a new career, if nothing else. It's very, very rewarding.
I mean, she's only 25.
I know that.
Yeah, that's right.
25. What the heck? Why not?
That's right.
But anyway, Monica, I wish you the very, very best. You've been a real loyal employee and a real dear friend. And I thank you so very much for your service to this county.
All right. That's hard to follow, guys. I mean, it really is. But we look forward to seeing you with or without the tiara out there in the audience talking to us, okay? Yes, sir. Thank you, ma'am. Yes, sir.
Mr. Chairman, one other item I wanted to bring up under administrative report, and it's regarding the House Bill 107 that has recently passed regarding planning and police jurisdictions.
That's the Senate bill, Mr. Dice.
Pardon me?
The Senate bill.
Senate bill, I'm sorry, Senate bill. 107, and there's some triggers in there that we have a 24-month window to discuss the impacts of that bill, and then talking with Commissioner Ball, I think it's necessary that we may want to discuss that, how to move forward with that. There are certain things that we would need to talk about with the municipalities, and it's probably, there's a little bit time sensitive. We do have 24 months, but I think the earlier the better probably for that. But again, in talking to Commissioner Ball, I think he feels the sooner the better we get to this, we'll be better off. Also, Mr. Harper's in the audience this morning, the building official, to talk about implications he may have from the building inspections department, Mr. Chairman. But basically, the Senate bill requires some discussions amongst the cities regarding how we're going to move forward with that. I just want to throw that out there for discussion, and how does the commission want to move forward with that, with those items regarding
I want to get Eddie to come up here, if he doesn't mind.
Sure.
One of the things that I was thinking about yesterday is, this, once this bill does become law, it's going to kind of leave us in a spot where, we got to make a decision with the cities on what they're going to do. And one of the things that I was thinking about was some of our larger cities that does a lot of permitting, if they decide just to pull all the way out right now, it would leave us kind of in a predicament. And I was wanting to just extend some type of courtesy letter on behalf of the chairman with the commission to each of these municipalities, saying that we are ready and willing to work with you in some way. It's all about working together through this process, and to be able to accommodate them in whatever their needs are when these changes, if they decide to take place. But they have the 2 years, but that doesn't necessarily mean that, if on the first day people couldn't go ahead and pull out, and we'll leave our building department in a very short-staffed environment when they would have to pick up all of that. So I'll let Eddie explain this a little bit further and see if we can get some type of letter up.
Good. Eddie?
Yes, sir. I've been studying the bill, since I discovered it a couple of months ago. And Commissioner Ball is exactly right. There are some triggers in there that we need to be ready for. And if these, if the commission decides to send the letter to the cities stating that we are, ready and willing to take over these areas that they're in, then they have that 2-year window that they can take advantage of that. They can continue to do the inspections in those areas for the whole 2 years, or they can turn that over day one. And so we will need to be ready for that. Even if the commission does not send a letter, there's language in there that adds some audits into the cities that choose to exercise permitting in those extra jurisdictions. And I think that those audits are going to reveal that maybe the fees that have been being charged in those areas are excessive, and they are going to have to back off on those fees. So I think that we might even get some of that territory back just for that reason only, because if they realize that it's not beneficial for them to be, doing the permitting in those areas, then they can just choose to pull out at that point in time too. But my biggest thing is whatever the commission's, wishes are as far as this goes, I'm willing to accept those, whether it stays like it is, whether we take it all the way back to the city limits, because that option is there. But I just need to be able to be ready in my department, because there's going to be some major areas that are affected. I know in the Fairhope area, that will be a good bit of permitting that's turned back over to my department. Same thing with Gulf Shores and Bay Minette and several other communities. And some of the communities, if they do lose that area that's outside their city limits, they might even not have the funds to continue the building department inside their city limits. And so we might have to sign agreements at that point in time, like we have with Magnolia Springs, and Perdido Beach and Alberta, to where we do the permitting for the entire town. And so, again, whatever the, commission decides to do, I'm going to make sure my department is ready, and that's what I want to be able to be, to know kind of what directions you guys are leaning, to where I'll know how fast I need to ramp up.
I mean, when you think about it, this is one of our biggest customer service bases that we have within this department of our ability to govern. And if for some reason a town pulls out or a city pulls out right away, and there's not a timely fashion on these permits, I mean, it could really be a problem for our consumers and public out there. And I just want this to be a smooth transition. And I'm sure Brad has got an idea on what this type of letter could say as far as helping the cities out with a smooth transition, working together. And I would hope the commission as a whole would want to send something like this to other municipalities to let them know that we're willing to help. And I'd like to get this out sooner than later. I mean, there's no need to keep waiting around. Do it contingent upon this act becoming a law.
I think that we have worked really hard as a commission as a whole to build up relationships with our municipalities. And whereas that, this has been a situation that we knew that we would have to face if the law passed. But I have had some reach out to me from my district and have asked, well, is the county just going to want to take this over, blah, blah, blah. I think that it would, so that we don't try to destroy our relationships, to reach out to them and have a discussion and then maybe pen a letter based on our discussions, because they're all different. Some of them, like you said, don't even do this. So it might not even, but just to send a letter to me is not very personable. And I feel like we've developed a relationship with some of these guys that whether it's chairman or if each person wants to reach out to the ones that's in their district and then come back and either hold a meeting or bring back the thought process. And I don't know that it just needs to be a generic letter sent to each one of them, but that's just my thought process when thinking about this, because these discussions have been going on as to, I know basically like what you just alluded to when you said there may be some of the towns in which my district has 3 of the smaller towns in it that, they're like, well, if we can't do this, then we can't even possibly even hire an inspector to do what's inside our town. So I think that, I don't think anybody wants to pull out and do anything to anybody. Everybody that I've talked to sort of wants to work it out. But I think that just sending out a letter is sending a kind of a message that might kill some of our relationship that we've already had.
Mr. Chairman, can I add one more thing? This bill, once passed into law, will terminate every agreement that these towns have with us. Every single one of them from the 90s is over with. They don't even exist anymore. And the purpose of the letter is to reach out, kind of like extending our hands to, and I know they think that we care about them and stuff, but this is just, the commission's in charge of this. This is not and I don't want it to look like that we're forcing stuff. I want it to be like, hey, we're here for your assistance, and this just like we've always done. But it's something that where we can make a gesture that's saying, hey, look, this bill passed. Nothing we can do about it now, and let's move forward. And we're here to help you with the transition. Is all I was saying. Whether it's generic, I mean, that's what it's supposed to be. It's not we're not supposed to be detailed in the weeds, separating each city right now, trying to figure out what we're doing. This is just saying that we're here to help. Is all I was wanting. Now, whether you want to do that as a chairman or not, that would be up to you, because I was asking for this to be a letter from the chairman.
Sure, I understand. And let me comment. First of all, Eddie, you need to be geared up. So if all of a sudden all of this is our responsibility day one, then either have staff identified, have support identified so we don't have a hiccup in the process.
Yes, sir. We're talking numerous ideas. We're talking
Good.
about bringing in contract employees if something happens right away. Retired inspectors, maybe signing contracts with them. And then, of course, if there are departments that dissolve across the, county, then we might be able to pick up some of that personnel. But identifying all of that is the first step. I don't know who's going to want to do what at this point in time.
That's right.
Now,
and it's not us telling them what to do. They need to tell us what they'd like to do.
Correct.
I like the idea of the letter. The letter's not telling them what's going to happen. Commissioner Underwood and I attended the Foley City Council meeting last night. It's my personal desire to go to as many city council meetings as I can as chairperson, to listen as well as comment on things. And after the meeting, had good conversation with members of the city council as well as the mayor about topics of interest. And as Commissioner Underwood said, we worked real hard to have a good relationship because we're all in this together. And this becomes a topic that this letter is not saying, you got to do this, you got to do that. What we want to do is say, we want to get with you to determine what works best, whether it's Magnolia Springs or Fairhope or Daphne or wherever. So I'd like for us, Brad and Wayne, let's put together a letter that's not telling them how we're going to do it. It's telling them that we want to work with them to make this be worked out, and I can see it being a series of communications. And as I said, it's my plan the remainder of my time as chairman to try to attend as many city council meetings as I can, because the way they know that we're serious about helping them is to see us and hear from us. And so I think that would be something that we need to pursue, and I hope that you'll draft up something for me to sign, and I'll be glad to share it with my colleagues. And I agree that we're all in touch with our constituents in our district, but do remember, we're elected countywide, so somebody in Fort Morgan is just as important to me as my next door neighbor.
Yes. I'm going to add my little thought to this.
Please do.
And because we have a mess the way it is right now. We all know that. With the planning jurisdictions, police jurisdiction, everything, we have a mess, but we understand that mess, okay? So if you guys will be in the conversations a lot more than I am probably with the different people. So I want to make it as simple as I can for the constituents, to where they know what's going on. Right now, it's, people trying to figure out whether they need to go here for, a land use and then here for a building permit. That's, to me, this bill does have the ability to help with that. And so I just want to do it consistently across the whole county. I don't want to piecemeal little agreements with this community and this community. I'd like for it to, in the discussion, to be as consistent to clear it up as much as possible across the whole county.
Good.
Yeah, I think, Eddie, just the letter, and Mr. Chairman, the letter in itself just gets the ball rolling. We'll work out the details, just like Joe said. We'll get in the weeds later on, and we can do it municipality by municipality, or we can do one big meeting with all the mayors. But this just gets the ball rolling and kind of puts us out there that we're here, we're willing to help. This is something that's going to lie on our shoulders to figure out, and I appreciate it, Mr. Chairman, doing the letter.
Yes. Well, I think it's, yes, sir.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to say, I think we need to work with these folks heavily, and we need to, I've always said this, we need to work on our building permits and all this, let's try to get them uniform.
That's right.
Please.
I mean, it's so much easier when everything is more uniform.
Right.
And also, I was going through some emails yesterday, and I think this is something that, I don't know how this new law is going to affect it, but we've got some areas that are relating to the National Flood Insurance. Those folks are fixing to get hit with a pretty good hefty increase this coming year.
Yeah, sure. They're being moved into a flood zone. Is that what you're talking about?
They're putting us in a, what it's called, it says, last week FEMA posted updates state-specific information on risk ratings 2.2 equally in action. And it says you can find your state's profiles on it. But they're looking at almost, as much as $300-400 more a year, and some of it could even go up to $3,000-4,000 a year.
Yes, sir.
And now, I don't know how, and with this jurisdiction stuff, if that has changed any, because some of these, firm maps, I don't know if they were doing the inspections outside of their city limits where the flood zone was at, and they were doing the, mitigation, hazards mitigation stuff.
Yes, sir.
Is that going to go to us? I mean, this, these are something we need, and now this is very important,
Yes, sir.
especially our people with flood insurance.
Yes, sir. The county-
Because, if a person falls out of this thing here and they want to get back in it, it's going to cost them dearly.
Yes, sir.
And that's one thing that, we've tried for years and years and years to try to keep our rates up so that we would have a good, I think we got right now, we got a 15% discount.
Yes, sir.
But,
Hopefully going to a 20.
well, we need to, and that's the main thing, and because, we strive, we've been, since I've been here, we've strived to try to keep that thing up there. Because it's very important. I mean, it's not at the beach. It's everywhere, anywhere where there's flooding, that people have flood insurance, it affects them.
That's right.
And we need to make sure that this is not forgotten, and we need to check into that to find out if that affects it, that this new bill is going to affect that there too.
Yes, sir. I know any territory that we take back over or take over, then the flood regulations will be in effect fully in those areas at that point in time.
We got to make sure that, those maps are right and everything else too.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Chairman, I could...
And the maps, you can forget, you try to get maps, it's like pulling hen's teeth. I mean, it took us almost 15 years to get new flood maps,
Yes, sir.
But I want to mention, historically, the CRS program applies to everywhere in unincorporated Baldwin County. Historically, that's been a bit of a problem because some of these areas that are in the county's CRS program that we get dinged for, it's not under the building department's jurisdiction. And so that's kind of one of the issues that we've dealt with historically. So that's something that we probably want to look at as we go forward as well.
Yes.
Well, I think it's significant, too, to be in touch through the various people in our county that are in the insurance industry. In fact, at last night's meeting, there was a lady that was presenting a situation about flooding in her home and the surrounding area, stormwater runoff and the like. She had every right to express her concerns, and they're working with her. But I talked to someone who knows the insurance industry, and she made reference to me that you have to have flooded 3 times before there's certain federal help that can come in there. That's where getting into the weeds and getting the information. And for one person to know it all is fine, but when we can have the collaboration of the people in that insurance industry to keep us aware of what's next and what's coming. So I think this letter will, as Jeb said, get the ball rolling, and that's the point. And everybody that's got an idea or a suggestion, I think we welcome them to have an opportunity to share it. But we're being looked at as the entity that needs to take this ball and run with it. And we don't want to run just by what we think. We want to have our citizens and our cities particularly, because as Commissioner Underwood said, all of them are a little unique. All of them are a little different. And we're not trying to make everybody the same. We want everybody treated fairly and consistently. So I'll be very much interested in signing a letter and getting that ball rolling. And as I said, I plan on attending city council meetings the remainder of my term, not just as chairman. Anything else, Eddie, at this point?
No,
Thank
sir.
you so much for you and your team.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thanks, Eddie.
So, Mr. Chairman, I would say that if this letter, it would be contingent upon the bill, being executed or passing via non-action. Then I think, it's going to have some official weight to it. So I think it needs to be a motion. If it's going to be a letter of a commission action, then it needs to be something y'all vote on.
Sure.
So I think then one of y'all would need to make
I make a motion, Mr. Chairman, that authorizing you to send this letter.
All right, we've got a motion. Do we have a second for that?
I'll second.
We've got a motion and a second. I can assure you this, I'm not going to send anything as chairman of this commission without the other three having,
We get a chance to see it.
that's exactly
Okay.
right. I want you to see it, and I want your input and suggestions, because it's about getting the information right and accurate.
I just know that there's times when people can pick up a phone and call somebody and say, I've got a letter coming, versus that letter showing up in your mailbox, because it sometimes that sends the wrong message.
That's right.
And so I do trust that you would not do anything, but at the same time, I just want to make sure that we don't tear down some walls that we've already built up.
I agree, certainly. Now, we've got a motion and a second. Any further discussion or comment? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, like sign. It does pass unanimous, and this just gets the ball rolling, and that's what we need to do. All right, sir?
Mr. Chairman, next is the county attorney's report.
We have 2 items for executive session after the meeting today. I'm not sure how long one of them will take, but we'll do them as quickly as possible. So when you're ready, just kick it back to me.
Sure. And then we'll be able to adjourn from that meeting. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Public comments. Do we have anybody from the public? I do like the fact that we locked the door. That's pretty cool. I mean, I welcome everybody, and anybody that watches this that has questions or concerns, please express them to us and to the staff, and we'll be glad to address them. No public comments. Press questions. I don't see anyone from the press. Commissioner comments. Skip, you got any comments, sir?
I want to thank the staff for all they've done and trying to get us ready for this meeting. And again, Monica, congratulations. We're going to miss you. And like I say, it's been a long time, but anyway, that's all I have.
Thank you. Billy Joe?
I'm just thankful for the opportunity to honor our older citizens. What's the right word? But they are very near and dear to me. As I age myself, several years ago, I went and become an accredited retirement advisor or whatever, and I got to know some of my aging clients in my regular profession, and it just opened my eyes to that we're aging as well. And so when I became commissioner and I found out all about the Council on Aging, I had heard about the Council on Aging in the past, but I didn't really understand all the things that they did. And so they are phenomenal. The people who don't know about them and the people who don't take advantage of some of their services. I was just telling my own sister, she turned 65 and she had to make these, she'll kill me for saying that. She's 12 years older than me. She don't watch this.
Do the
So
math.
she won't know. She won't know. She won't know. But if anybody knows her, my oldest sister. And I was like, you need to go talk to them because they can help you with your supplements and things like that. And because she was like, I'm officially on Medicare now. And I said, ooh-wee. And so I said, they offer things. And so a lot of people have this like misconception that it's only for extremely low income or different things like that. They really have a really wide variety of services that they offer to different people just to help you select different things and things that will help you utilize your funds and stuff when you get into retirement age. So my sister's not retired yet. She'll probably work till she dies because that is her nature. But she did have to go on Medicare because of her age. And so I thought that was so interesting that she kind of like, oh, I can handle this. I'm like, you probably not that smart. And also, Monica, I'm going to miss you again. I already said it earlier, but I love your crown. It says officially retired. Is that right? Yeah. So I thought it might be a birthday today. She's wearing that crown, but.
They celebrate those too around here for a very long time.
But
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Jim?
Thanks again to the staff and to the commission, and it's always an honor to serve with you guys. And I just wanted to tell Monica, gonna miss you, and I hate that this is going to be our last meeting together, but look forward to you coming to the audience every now and then, or just hanging out in the back and eating some sweet treats or something that we have back there. So thanks again for everything that you've done for the county and our staff. Thank you.
In the 70s, I was blessed to work in an organization where we did reunions, and I can remember the first 50th reunion group at the University of Alabama. This was in the 70s. and it was quite informative to me. I'm kind of a history buff, and you get to talking to folks that were at the 1924 Democratic Convention and all these kinds of things. A couple of years into it, we started doing, and back then it was really a big deal to be able to do videos, and we started videoing conversations with people like John Sparkman and Howell Heflin and people from our area. And those are the kind of folks that you heard about, looked up to, and got a chance to listen to. All of us have experiences like that. I had a grandfather who was not formally educated, but he was one of the smartest men I ever knew. And he would give you and all of us cousins what I call sage advice. And one of them was, because he saw cars come into existence, he said, son, don't get out in front of your headlights. And so when you're working on something, keep it in perspective and know where you're going. And then you can get there better and benefit more folks. So I'll be 73 years old next month. And guess what? My class at Alabama is having its 50th anniversary celebration. And Norma and I are going to go back. And what I want to focus on is not just people that I'll see that I knew when we were in school. I want to focus on that young staff to tell them, be careful now. It won't be long before you'll be having your 50th anniversary. But all of us are made up of who we are, where we came from, who influenced us. And if we can make a difference going forward, that's what keeps me doing what I'm doing now. And I know that I've been blessed to be part of significant staffs. You mentioned the financial. I've been a broker. I've been a banker. My wife and I are now experiencing required minimum distributions. And that ends up being kind of interesting, but we've been blessed to put some back. Now we're accessing it. And take a few minutes, reflect on who influenced you, and then focus on influencing the next generation, because that's where we've got to. I've got 2 phones, and that's 2 more than I know how to handle. And I got a computer that Brian has to help me with every day. And I'm rambling now, and I know that. But I do want to thank the staff. Like I said, I've been in some wonderful organizations, but I've never been in an organization that is strong top to bottom. And bottom doesn't mean you're not important. It just means you're further down the rung than ultimately you'll have a chance to be. And Monica, I was blessed to retire the first time at age 45, and I retired 3 times. And you'll stay busy in whatever you choose to do. You have our blessing, and anytime you need us, you reach out to us. So with that being said, Wayne, I think we need to go to Brad and get us into executive session.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would recommend that the commission pass a motion to adjourn this meeting and convene an executive session for the purpose of discussing with the county attorney the legal ramifications of and legal options for pending litigation or litigation imminently likely to be pending if a governmental body pursues a proposed course of action, and to discuss the consideration the governmental body is willing to offer or accept when considering the purchase, sale, exchange, lease, or market value of real property. So there'll be a motion and a second, and then I'll make my statement on the record.
I'll make that motion.
Got a motion by Jeb to take our legal representation's recommendation. Do we have a second? We have a motion and a second.
All right, I'm an attorney licensed to practice law in the state of Alabama, and this exception is applicable to the planned discussion. And then after the vote, you can just announce that we will not reconvene.
All right, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. It is unanimous. And for the record, I'd like for us to note that it's 18 minutes after 9. And we conducted the county's business, and we're going to go into executive session. Thank you all. And staff, thank you again. And Monica, you have a great future, girl. I know you will. All right? Thank you. We're adjourned.